If you were to somehow kidnap a prehistoric man and drop him right into your bedroom today, you probably wouldn't be the one running away in terror. He would. To you, he might smell like a heavy mix of campfire smoke, animal fat, and dirt. But to him, you wouldn't smell fresh at all. Your scented laundry detergent, your floral shampoo, and your chemical deodorant would smell like a toxic chemical storm wearing pants. He would probably scream, "Why does this creature smell like poisonous jungle plants?" Cleanliness has never been a fixed law of science. It's a definition of culture. Now, by modern standards, yes, our ancestors smelled pretty strong. But the real question is, without a single drop of soap or a tube of toothpaste, how did they survive for hundreds of thousands of years in the wild without being wiped out by infections or parasites? The answer will make you realize that our ancestors weren't just dirty mud goblins. They were just practicing hygiene in a completely different way. Let's start with the very thing that covers our bodies, our skin. Most of us think that if we don't use soap for a few days, our skin will crawl with dangerous germs. But modern science has discovered a surprising truth. When you stop washing with harsh chemicals, your skin actually activates a natural defense ecosystem called the skin microbiome. Good bacteria thrive, eating excess oils and creating a light acid layer on your skin. This natural acid barrier acts like a high-tech shield that kills dangerous fungi and harmful bacteria. By showering with commercial soap twice a day, we are basically carpet bombing this protective shield. This actually makes modern skin more prone to allergies and infections than ancient skin. On top of that, prehistoric humans had a very powerful passive hygiene tool, campfire smoke. They lived by the fire day in and day out. Smoke got into their skin, their hair, and their animal hides. To us, that just smells burnt. But to them, smoke was a natural mosquito repellent and bug killer. Smoking themselves was their way of sanitizing their bodies. In fact, around 40 million years ago, Neanderthals were already using a type of natural makeup. They crushed red iron oxide into powder and mixed it with animal fat to rub all over their skin. This red clay paste worked as a sunscreen, kept them warm, and blocked bugs from biting them. Now, let's talk about the most sensitive but life-or-death issue: using the bathroom. Ancient humans did their business completely out in nature. So why didn't they pollute their own living spaces? The secret comes down to two things: population density and mobility. When archaeologists studied ancient waste markers in caves like El Salt in Spain, they found something interesting. Ancient humans managed their waste in a very structured way. They had strategic bathroom zones, and they were always located far away from their water sources and sleeping areas. More importantly, they lived in small groups of just a few dozen people, and they moved constantly. If a campsite started to get gross or ran out of food, the whole tribe packed up and left. The vast open space of the earth was the perfect natural filter. It was only later, when humans settled down into crowded medieval cities, living on top of their own waste without any plumbing, that massive plagues like the Black Death happened. Looking at it this way, a Stone Age hunter-gatherer lived a much cleaner and safer life than a wealthy nobleman in Julianth century Paris. When they weren't moving around, where did they sleep? Definitely not directly in the mud. At Sibidu Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found shirtshir of this time, year-old beds woven from river sedges and wild quince leaves. When people lay down, their body weight crushed the leaves, releasing a natural essential oil that repelled mosquitoes and killed insects. Underneath this plant mattress, they spread a fine layer of campfire ash. The ash was highly alkaline. It absorbed moisture and scratched the shells of any bugs that tried to crawl onto the bed. But things got more complicated when humans invented animal hide clothing to survive the Ice Age. Animal hides don't have a self-cleaning system like human skin, so they quickly became prime real estate for a new creature: body lice. Genetic scientists tracked the DNA of body lice and found they split from head lice about 2 million years ago. By studying the history of allows, we know exactly when our ancestors started wearing clothes regularly. To deal with these tiny pests, ancient humans turned grooming into the ultimate community activity. They didn't bathe alone in a private room. They sat in a circle around the fire, spending hours combing each other's hair, braiding it, and picking out bugs. This action triggered the brain to release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It built absolute trust within the tribe. A prehistoric bug-picking session was basically the 98th century version of going to a spa mixed with a team-building exercise. Finally, let's look at the mouth. Ancient humans didn't have plastic toothbrushes, dental floss, or mouthwash. Yet, when dentists look at Stone Age skulls, they are shocked. Ancient teeth were straight, perfectly aligned, and almost completely free of cavities. How did they have teeth that people today would pay thousands of dollars for, without ever brushing? The answer is, they hadn't invented agriculture yet. The ancient diet consisted of tough wild meat, roots, berries, and fiber-rich nuts. Chewing these hard foods acted like a natural floor scrubber, constantly scraping plaque off their teeth. Everything went downhill the moment humans entered the agricultural era. We started eating soft starches, grains, and bread. Those sticky bits of bread left in the gaps between teeth became an all-you-can-eat buffet for cavity-causing bacteria. You could say that the moment humans learned how to bake a delicious loaf of bread, we also invented the toothache. To save themselves, ancient people used chewing sticks. They frayed one end of a twig into bristles to brush their teeth. Science shows that these types of tree bark naturally contain antibacterial properties and fluoride. The ancient Egyptians took it a step further. They invented their own toothpaste made of ash, burnt ox hooves, and crushed eggshells to literally scrape the plaque away. In short, ancient humans weren't dirty in the simple way we think. They didn't have factory-made chemical products, but they spent thousands of years observing and using the world around them intelligently. They used fine sand to exfoliate, clay to absorb oil from their hair, ash to kill bacteria, and distance to escape disease. Their bodies might have smelled like dirt, sweat, and campfire smoke, but that was the smell of hard work, survival, and a healthy body ecosystem. Honestly, between a 98th century chemical storm wearing pants and a natural prehistoric human, who is actually cleaner? That is a question we still haven't truly answered.